All right, we're working on A25 today, and we are solving quadratic equations with square roots. So, as we do this, and we look at number 2, I am going to isolate this before I take the square root. Are we all clear on that? That's good. So, I'm going to divide both sides by 8. I have b squared equals what? Well, 24 divided by 8 is 3, so 240 divided by 8 is 30. Now, how do we get rid of that square?
Oh, shoot, I did it wrong.
How do we take the what?
I actually did it wrong. I did 80 instead.
We take the square root. So this is going to cancel. And then how many answers should we have when we take a square root? 2. So I'm going to put my plus or minus here. What do I need to do before I write down my answer?
Whatever you, Courtney, I was thinking about this.
Well, I need to break down the square root if I can. So first of all, is 30 a perfect square?
No.
I agree with you. 30 is not a perfect square because it's not on my list, and I can't think of something times itself. So, or if I took it in the calculator, it wouldn't work. Are there any perfect squares that divide into 30?
1.
Okay, so that's not breaking down. 4 doesn't divide evenly. 9, 16, 25 is too high. So guess what? It just stays. No, there's a solution. It just stays as a square root of 30. We can't break any roots out. So that one was actually pretty simple, but you do have to try. All right. Let's look on the back at number 8. All right, flip it over to the back, number 8. So we need to isolate the square, cross the line, change a sign. What are we getting rid of first, the 9 or the minus 1?
1.
So cross line, change a sign. Okay, plus 1. I get 9n squared equals what? Negative 160. All right, then what? Yes, you're not taking the square root to isolate. Divide by 9. All right, does that divide evenly? It's not 8.
No, we're answering.
Oh, what's negative 160 divided by 9?
Negative 17.77.
Okay, so what you're telling me is it doesn't divide evenly. Okay, here's the deal. If your fraction doesn't divide evenly, you would try to reduce it. It doesn't reduce. We don't want mixed numbers. We don't want decimals. But I'm actually not worried about any of that because guess what, guys? What's my answer? Why is my answer no solution?
Because it's negative.
What's negative?
No negative number.
Negative 1 solution.
All right, everything I square would be positive, so I can't get a negative outcome. And even though this was a messy number, can I take the square root of a negative? No. So no solution, or we could say no real solution because there are imaginary ones. All right, let's do one more. Let's do number either 9 or 11, your choice, 9 or 11. 11? Okay, first things first, we have lots of things to get rid of. The 6, the power 2, and the minus 2. What's first? So we're going to do what to get rid of that minus 2? Add 2, okay. So I have 6n squared equals?
558.
Wait, say it again?
588.
588, okay. And then what do I need to do? Divide by 6. You're isolating that square first. All right, so it divides evenly. All right, is 98 a perfect square? It's definitely not on my perfect square list. If I put it in the calculator, the square root of 98 gives me that ongoing decimal, so it's irrational. So I need to break this down. Now, so I don't forget, I'm taking the square root to cancel out the square. But what about my final answer when I figure this out? What should I have with it? Plus or minus. And I'm doing this now because I think I'd forget. Now, we need to break 98 down, and I only care about numbers if they're what? Perfect squares.
49 and 2.
49 and 2. Now, remember the deal. We always put that perfect square first because that's what we're taking the square root of. Guys, you would have been trying a lot of numbers, but 49 is the only perfect square that goes into 98. Even the smaller ones don't. What is the square root of 49? So that's it. You'd break it out of the root sign, and then you keep the square root of 2. So this is red, plus or minus 7 square roots of 2. Okay. Is there anything else that you saw in here that you're like, whoa, this doesn't seem right?
Number 4.
What about number 4? I was wondering if you guys would be bothered by that. All right, well, what are we doing first in number 4?
+1.
Okay, I can handle that.
But it's 0.
So I get r squared equals 0. Okay, so no, it's actually not no real solution. Well, how do I get rid of the square?
You literally don't.
What's the square root of 0?
Not zero.
0. I'm only going to get no solution. I'm only going to get no real solution if it's the square root of a negative. So I can take the square root of 0, and it's not like my variable canceled out. If my variable canceled out, that'd be different. So for all of you that are making fun of other people, there you go.
Get humble.